the money management is a money management game. It's something that needs a team, it needs responsible people, it needs to be given attention. Parents are getting older, the next gen's taking charge. There's a very clear need and desire to build businesses.
I've got my real calling there. I mean, everything I did before that was fun as well.
Yeah.
But with that, I actually hit it with 40. So Jay, as a founder of ICA Connect, right, you have a very unique perspective because you are in touch with all these members and Indian family offices. What are some of the trends that you can observe that are happening right now in the evolving ecosystem of Indian family offices?
So that's a good question. I think there are a few. So one is families in India have realized the money management is a money management game. It's something that needs a team, it needs responsible people, it needs to be given attention. You may have been running a large industry, but that corpus also runs as a business. So they are now putting in the right people. So there are professionals that are running large family offices. Many of them have very clear mandates. They only do private equity or they only do venture, and this is significant money. Sometimes $500 million to $1 billion. So they're almost rivalry with existing fund managers that are also in the same space. So we're seeing that at the top end, we're seeing this institutionalization of really solid teams, right? With carry structures, with management fees, everything, right? Because they realize they're going to run this for 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, this is going to be a perpetual vehicle. So how do you build all the pieces within it? Right. Second part is, I think folks have, the next gen, who are actually extremely lucky in this game, because the parents made the money, parents are getting older, the next gen's taking charge. There's a very clear need and desire to build businesses, number one, on one side. So several of them are saying, let me get a professional fund manager to run the money, but I want to build 1, 2, 3, 4 businesses. So they're actually going down the entrepreneurship way. On the other flip side, there are next gen who said, I was never interested in entrepreneurship. I do not want to be like dad and mom. I don't want to be running around, building factories and then eventually looking for an exit. There's this old funny saying, right? You meet somebody on the beach and he says, okay, so what do you want to do? He says, oh no, I'm going to actually go ahead and build factories. Okay, what's going to happen later? I'm going to sell those factories. Then I'm going to make a lot of money. What are you going to do after that? I'm going to come and sit and enjoy a pina colada on the beach. I say, you're already there, right? So I think the next gens today are asking themselves that question. Saying, I'm already on the beach. Why do I need to do this whole cycle for what? And so this is a very important piece. It's the question of validation. And I think today there's a lot of pressure for next gens to validate their existence. So how do you validate the existence of a 27-year-old? Nothing against being 27, but the truth is it's hard because you were born with a silver spoon. The expectation burden, and I think this is a very important piece, is so high, is that if your father was super successful or your mother was super successful, how can you just say, I'm going to manage money? Isn't that a very low hurdle for life? Right? So I think there's a bit of maturity required even within the Indian system to say managing money isn't easy. It takes a lot of stress. So I think this dynamic is still playing out, and I think it will play out over the next 10, 15 years. Some will manage money, some will go and build entrepreneurship businesses.
Right. I mean, this is an existential task, of everyone to find one's purpose.
Yeah.
Right? And in families of very high or ultra high net worth, there come additional pressures and expectations on top, which, as you say, doesn't make things easy, right, for the next generation. Right?
It's not easy.
There's a lot of conflict that can disturb people's lives.
Yeah.
So how do you see that playing out? What is your recommendation? How should we deal with the next gen?
So I think it requires a lot of coaching. And I think it requires coaching not just for the next gen. It requires coaching even upwards
Right.
to the principals and the patriarch or the matriarch, is to understand what is, not everyone's built to go
Yeah.
build factories. It's also a personal desire and a need, right? So sometimes when there is nothing there, it's like when I'm staring at a cliff, it's either down or I got to go fly. Right? So you have no choice. Survival, it requires you to fight, right? And so I think it comes down to knowing, one, the next gen, and what do they want to do. Two, give them enough support. I think a lot of times the expectation is you can go figure it out. I'm worth $1 billion, you're my son, here's 5 million, like go figure it out. Like don't waste my time, I got to go build the next billion, right? So I think there's not enough coaching or support given. The mentorships
Right.
needed to bring the next gen in, right? To allow them to fail. I know next gens who've opened up to me saying, I started a startup, but every dinner conversation was, what's the revenue? Oh, you just burned through $300,000, right? And you have only 6 employees. I built my business with $30,000, and I was profitable on the first month. You can't. The world has shifted, right? So I think coaching required on both sides, right? So I think there is a definite need for one, peers who can help jump into that. Two, advisors,
Right.
business advisors, family business advisors. And at IKEA, what we try to do is bring these conversations internal.
Right.
Maybe just 8 next gens together, no recording, nothing, just having them have a conversation. How did you navigate that? I need $5 million to start something. I'm not getting it from the business. I'm not getting it from my family. What should I do? So, I've actually sometimes advised next gens to say, you got enough money. That money is yours. It's not going away. You're under 30. Just go and take a job. Just go to grad school, go live your life as if that money was never yours. When you're 40 plus, 45, you will find the calling, or the calling will come. And at that point, it's okay. But till then, actually go live a full life.
Right.
Versus being under I'm protected, but I'm too rich to be employed. So these are very, like you said, these are very difficult, scenarios that are playing out in their heads, but it needs a lot of navigation.
Absolutely. Well, in my case, I'm now 62. I started my business with 40 years, the Opalesk publishing business. I was 40, right? I got my real calling there. I mean, everything I did before that was fun as well.
Yeah.
But with that, I actually hit it with 40. And I also recently had at the European investor-family office event, I had a conversation with a coach, New York coach, who is specialized on working with families and ultra-high net worth. And she said something really interesting. She said, in her observation, the number one issue among rich families in the US is not, and she called it really like that, not to mess up the next generation, right? Because of these things, because of pressure, expectations, and so what you're saying, Jay, is looking for advice, being open for other perspectives, right? Let the young generation go and experiment.
Yeah.
These are all things to consider.
But I think a lot of times what happens is it's experiment, but with accountability. I think in the family domain, it's sometimes like you want to do that. Okay, what's it going to cost? It's in the mind of the patriarch is I'm writing that off, but that's not the right way, right? You want to have account. Where's the business plan?
Right.
Where's my monthly MIS?
Exactly.
Right? So how do you at the start have the understanding? Yes, we are willing to give you 1, 2, 5 million, whatever you need. However, it comes with these caveats. You need to make a business plan. I will give you a consultant to make it. I will help you build it. You need to have a board of advisors. Oh, here's so and so. Here are 4 people I could give you for the board. You can choose whether you want them or not. 3, you are going to come and present to us every quarter on how the performance of the business and its challenges. A lot of times, that piece misses. That's missing. And so then what happens? Here you've got a next gen who does not have support, got the money. It's not easy. No business is easy, right? And so he starts struggling, and then is now being judged on the dining table. What do you think is going to happen?
Right.
In a year, he's going to go, let me cut my losses today. I lost $1 million. I'll just sort of say, I lost $1 million. Apologies. Tell me what else to do in life.
Yeah.
So that's not optimal.
Right.
When you are so rich,
Right.
you could actually build a very nice way to do this. Right. So I think that's the piece where folks really need to spend time.
Exactly.
And I think it'll come around. Folks,
Right, so it doesn't need to be like that, right?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So there is a concept which is called the family bank, and
Yes.
we wrote about that in Horizons. It's a really good article. I suggest people to search on our website, opales.com, Horizons, about the family bank. So the next gen has an idea, devises a plan, and he presents it to his family, right? And it's getting vouched on a professional level. And he gets the money, plus he gets the mentoring and the additional resources, right? So that's a very, very good approach that people should also consider.
I think that's a great idea. And I love that concept.
Right.